We're going. Hey, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of HitaTalk Season 4. And my next guest is such a rock star woman. I mean, aren't they all? That's kind of why I have this whole series. She is such a sweet friend, a major supporter and cheerleader of all women. She is so strong in her faith that everybody just needs to kind of like absorb themselves with her and her line and her products and her artistry. She is a creative director and an illustrator at A Spoonful of Faith. Please welcome Jena Holliday.
Hi.
We need an audience. I don't have an audience.
Intro.
Oh, you're such a delight. I just love chatting with you all the time. Look at that bright smile. So of course I had to have you share your amazingness. How are you, girlfriend?
I am doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well.
You've been doing a lot of things, all things 2020, and those that are going to watch this after 2020 has become a past thing, are going to look back and be like, oh, wow, she's an awesome woman that either they knew about or are now going to know about. We're going to talk about all things personal, family, biz, all that good stuff. But before we really dive in, let's talk about young Jena. Let's talk about the little girl that we didn't know, but the woman that we know today. Where did you grow up? Kind of like the basic, what was your childhood like?
Sure. So I grew up in Minnesota. I grew up in the same area that I live today, Brooklyn Park. And let's see, I'm a middle child of 7. So I grew up with a really, really big family. Lots of siblings, and I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. Both of my parents actually just celebrated an anniversary. They've been married for 39 years. So yeah, like this, congrats to them. But we had a strong family foundation. And growing up, my dad was a minister. My mom worked and currently works as an executive assistant at a law firm. So she's done that for 20 years. So I got a little bit of both sides of different things. However, my parents were always super encouraging to me and my siblings around being creative. And they just saw those things within us, and they would just foster it and be like, yeah, let's try it, let's do it. And they always kind of helped us to believe that we were unique and we didn't have to be and do like everyone else. They didn't have huge plans of oh, you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, anything like that. It was more you just need to go to school and you need to be able to take care of yourself, and however it works out, they were fine with. And so I had a pretty decent childhood. I had a really big and supportive family unit, and I think that was key. Yeah.
You had your own personal squad,
yeah.
Get-go. That is so endearing. And are all of your siblings and your family still in Brooklyn Park or Minnesota?
Yeah, all of us are in Minnesota. So we see each other a lot. So when our families get together, it's just it'll be just the family that we always are around. My brothers and sisters and their kids, it's 20 some people, easy, for a birthday, that's just, that's how it is. So I love my family. I spend a lot of time with my family. So I am very appreciative for that, for sure.
Well, what a blessing, holy buckets. The Persian households are like that too, granted. I'm the youngest of 3, but we have a bajillion cousins. So intimate, small family gathering, it's minimum. If we really scale down, it's 15 or 20.
Right, exactly.
I understand.
That's us too.
But how fun, right? You wouldn't have it any other way. It's kind of
I know.
So fast forward a little bit to college and post-college life. What did you have? Do you have a background in anything specific that you're using today? Did you self-teach yourself your creative work? I always ask that because we have paper, we don't really use it, or paper doesn't mean anything to some people. So it's funny.
Yeah, no, I actually went to college for a degree in business marketing. And so I initially when I was younger, I thought I was going to be an artist, and I just thought okay, maybe I'll do something with it. But in middle school, like one of my teachers, who was an art teacher, was basically like, that's probably not the best path because you're not going to make money. And I was like, I came out of a huge family where like, okay, well, I need to be able to make money because we shared a lot. Just raising a large family. And so I always was like, thought it was important for me to have like, financial stability. So I didn't think that was like smart. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go to school for marketing because that's like the most creative side of business. So let's just go there. And so like, that was kind of like my path. I graduated with a degree in marketing, and I was working as a digital, I actually worked in merchandising for quite a while. I was an assistant buyer for skincare at television, like a shopping channel, Evine Live. And I was like, I worked there for, well, it's Evine now, but it was Shop in NBC.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I actually worked in merchandising there. Then I was an assistant buyer for skincare. And so I learned a ton of retail stuff, like working in that. How to sell quickly, how to sell online, all these things that's still related to like marketing. And then towards the end of being there, I actually moved over to marketing. I worked in digital marketing there, and like with the website and like retail, that type of stuff. From there, I actually moved to take a job at Target Corp, where I worked in digital marketing. I worked in Facebook advertising, so specifically working on ads. I was good at it, and like that stuff makes sense to me. I love all of like the analytics, digging in, studying, that kind of stuff. But I wasn't happy. Like I wasn't fulfilled. Like I had the job, I had the money, I had the things I thought I wanted, but there was still something missing. And so I started to kind of like internally be asking these questions of like, what am I doing? Like, is this where I want? Like, do I just want to keep going higher into something that I don't really want to be at? And so creating things had always been a part of me. It had always been something I'd done. It was just, I just thought everybody did it. It was just something that I did on the side, and I didn't think too much of it. And after I had my first child, my daughter Layla, I started really thinking about like, how can I live a life where I tell her to like go after everything she wants and like think big, and if I'm not even doing it myself. And so I was like, this is the time where I'm just gonna like take a leap and try to see what could possibly become. And I started just sharing. I opened a blog. I was like, I'm just gonna share the things, create and make from it, and see what happens. And then all of this happened.
Boom, something happened.
I feel like that was more than what you asked, but
no, it's the journey though, right?
Yeah.
Very few people I know will go to school for something that they're actually going to do long term, unless it's a specific industry like medical, legal, things like that. And even legal. I'm working with a health coach. She was an attorney for 7 years. She's like, I'm good. I'm done with this. So clearly I love all creative things, and I'm very drawn to you for a number of reasons, but I can understand like that journey is really fun to hear. So thanks for sharing that. How did you, okay, actually, here's what you said that stood out to me. So I auditioned for Evine, I think 2 different times, and clearly nothing in that realm came about. This is for guest hosting, but they went through a lot of changes. And then the other thing you said was Target. I wonder if we had an overlap at Target, because I worked there for about 4 years too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 2010 to 2014. So that was.
I had my son in 2016. I think I was right there. I was there right after you.
Isn't that funny? So
Yeah.
but the whole culture of just like, the atmosphere and the hustle and how companies work and things like that. So needless to say, we are both doing a little bit of a different thing. So I love what you are doing, and we're going to talk about that right now. So talking about Spoonful of Faith and taking your creative work and maybe the inspiration growing up. I don't know. I want to ask you that. How did Spoonful of Faith come about?
Yeah. So honestly, it was just a way at first for me to like create things. And so background, I had a blog, and been running for like 4 or 5 years. And it was a fashion blog. Like I just shared, it's so funny because like there's a lot that people don't know. So I ran a fashion blog for quite a while. And it was like growing and it was doing well. But then I had all of these drawings and stuff I was making and doing and that I wanted to share. It didn't feel like a natural fit because people didn't come to my blog for that. I started incorporating my faith towards the end of like my fashion blog. And so I would share, you know, things that just to like that I've learned or like encouraging others through it. And then I would share like outfits and things that I was like wearing. And I decided that I wanted to start like sharing my artwork, but I was like, I think I need to like create another, you know, blog or something. And so I was like kind of done with the fashion posts and things like that. I still love to do it, but I was kind of like, I don't know if that's really what I want to be focusing on. And so I started this blog. I like told everybody like, go to my new website. This is my new website now. Like, I know you've been here and you like here, but we're going there now. And I just started sharing our life and like the things I would create. And I think, you know, growing up and like what I had learned from just being raised by my parents kind of was naturally implemented into the things that I would create. Initially, I started by drawing pictures of kids, and like moms were like, oh my gosh, can you draw my kid? And so I just would like booked with like portrait work of like people's kids. I used to do like a lot of the kids that like kids fashion online. I would like share these like really cute outfits that I'd like draw and detail up because like at that point fashion illustration was like huge. And so and that's when people started to like see my work and share my work and like recognize it because all these moms wanted to share pictures of their kids. So we're like, oh, she did mine, look.
Marketing.
Yes. So yes. So like it would just blow up from this word of mouth. But as I continued to do it, I started to really tap into like, what do I want to be saying here? Like, what is the message here? Like outside, because I started getting burnt out on doing all of those. And I'm like, I can't be burnt out if I don't want to be burnt out on anything, but I mean, it happens. But I definitely don't want to be burnt out on something that I don't really know that that's what I want to be doing anyways, you know? So I started to kind of transition and think more about overall what I wanted to do. And that's where I feel like with Spoonful of Faith, my work is whimsical. It's filled with joy. It subtly, like, it's powerful and strong. And I think that's what comes through a lot, like the message of like togetherness, hope, joy comes through, but it's not in your face.
Right.
I do that by providing artwork, a way to see a story when people are writing books and children's books and book covers, that kind of stuff. I also do that by creating pieces for brands that helps with their marketing and telling a story through a visual aspect. And then the last way that I do that is through the pieces that I create to sell in my shop. So I run an online shop where the different artwork pieces from collections that I've made are on products. And so there's like these 3 touch points of, my brand and where it is. But I think those messages of hope, joy, and like togetherness, or like we're in this together, comes through in different ways through that.
Well, I'm a huge fan.
Right.
From your collection. Special. You did that at my launch party in 20.
Yeah.
Gina was, she sponsored her illustrations. She drew people on the spot from a photo.
Yeah, it was fun.
Why am I not wearing my Unity shirt? How rude. I didn't even think of that. I guess I could like wear all things Gina, but
you've got enough on the wall. We'll be okay.
It's permanently there in all my videos. But the calendar right behind you too. I mean, your calendars sell out. They're lighthearted and they're joyful and they're, like you said, whimsical. And it's absolutely not in someone's face. I would say, I bet some people who really, really lean on you for that probably could even want to come back for more and more and more. And then people like myself even, who are just, subtly on a different journey of just like learning about a different faith. I did not grow up Christian at all. So it's been so enlightening, like watching my husband and his journey and like integrating our daughter. Roya is all about this stuff, right? So she
Right.
knows your work, and it's fun. It's so approachable. So good job on all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. You share quite a bit about your, people ask questions about like what it's like being an illustrator, what it's like being an artist. And you were sharing something recently about like books. So we won't get into like all the nitty gritty, but I wanted to ask about this because you've illustrated for books. You're working on a few different things. Where can we find the books or book that your work is in? And then what can we know about what you're working on?
So I should do better about this, about having all the books that I've done on my website. That's something I'm working on updating. But many of the books that I have been an illustrator on, like children's books, you can find online, you can find through Amazon. If you type in my name, books, these will pop up. If you type in my name in like Amazon, they'll all come up because a lot of people sell there, right? So especially books. So that's one way to kind of find. I also do have some links in my portfolio for past projects that you can share or find, and that's through my website, spoonfuloffaith.com. And then there's a link for the portfolio. And then what am I working on? I am working on my own first author illustrated book with HarperCollins. That's exciting. That doesn't come out until 2022. So another year. But I'm super excited about that project. I'm working on a book. The name of the book is Spoonful of Faith. And yeah, it's a story about a little girl and her mom. And the little girl's name is Layla. So it's based on my daughter. And it's kind of like us. And that's kind of all I can tell you. But it's a sweet story about a girl and her mom and the little girl needing a spoonful of faith for her first day of school. So
I'm gonna cry when I read it.
Super cute. It's super cute. I cannot wait for it to come out in the world. But that's one big thing that's kind of going on in the book aspect of things.
Okay, and I'm sure all my mom friends out there are going to be like, I need this, especially
yes.
for school.
Yes, it's perfect for that occasion.
I've always loved the name Layla. Growing up, I had like reserved that name. So I had told my brother and my sister, I'm like, whether you have kids before me or not, which they would because they're 10 years older than me, don't name your daughter Layla, because I wanted to name my daughter Layla. And then my cousin wanted to name her daughter Layla. So I was all like, come on, I've reserved it.
Come on.
We have a Layla in the family. And then we settled on the beautiful name of Roya. But
I love Roya.
I will snatch that up when it becomes available in 2022. So another thing that you mentioned, and it's a huge topic that I talk about, is just, uplifting women and making sure there's a lot of togetherness and inclusion. Obviously, you have the beautiful, like the Unity t-shirt and the Unity print, and then just, and so much of your artwork over here. I love artists. You have representation, which is huge, but you have a lot of like the sisterhood. So why are those your main characters?
I love drawing women. I always loved drawing women. And when I started trying to like find my place in illustration, I was like, man, like what if people don't like women? People like to draw like florals and things. I don't know. So like the marketing side of my head constantly comes on. So sometimes I create for others, but then often when I'm creating just for myself, the women come out. These different women. And I think it comes back to growing up in a household full of women,
Yeah.
seeing like all these women that my sisters that all just have their own creativity and uniqueness, like in their own right. Like we all just do our thing. And I love that. But then also, I think a lot of it also turns back to like not seeing these women in media, in the world around me not being celebrated. And so, part of me just naturally wants to make this amazing woman over and over and over again in different ways, and share it with the world. And so I think like subconsciously, I didn't realize that's what I was doing for so long. I just loved to draw women. And then I started to like really look and think about, why do I do that? And it was just something in me that wanted to see different women represented and shared. Yeah.
Someone needs to do it. There's no
right.
Someone needs to do it, and it's going to be Jena. We also celebrate your really good friend Aisha Branch, who is also in this.
That's my sister-in-law.
Is your sister-in-law, which is also on the Mom Squad. So we'll see her in a future episode here. But it was so fun to see, you two on different journeys, similar similarities, and then how you are both in this creative realm, but you do almost different stuff. And it's just so beautiful to see these women featured in such a light, because someone has to do it. So
yes.
And Jena do it. So I have a whole kids empowerment like hat that I wear, air that I breathe. It's just part of it. Someone has to do it, right?
Yes.
And I'm always thinking about like the little girls. So there's so much out there, and probably not even enough still for teens and even just women. But I scale down for like the young girls, like age 7 and 8 and 9. And your kids are right around, they're right in that age category or younger. What is it? And this applies to moms with boys too, but I always start with the girls. What is it about your work and the messages that you want to put out there that you want Layla to just understand? And that could just be on a personal front with the things that you teach her, but what do you want her to take away from the things that you're doing?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think out of everything that I do, what I really want my kids to understand is that they can live fully as themselves. And I think, because I've shared this before on different interviews, but quickly, I will tell you, a couple of years ago, we did a video for my mom. I think it was for her birthday or Mother's Day. And so each one of us, like all my siblings, right? Like all 7 of us, we recorded this video where each of us talked about the things that, just different questions about my mom, right? But then one of the questions was like, what have you learned from her? And the thing that all of us said, it's crazy because we didn't plan it, we didn't know. And each one of those like little short snippets, the constant theme was that we loved how she just told us how we could be ourselves and we can be unique and we didn't have to be like anyone else. Okay. So it was clearly something that we all needed to like know and understand. And it was something that we all needed to like in our lives, in all of our different lives. So whatever we were doing and whatever we were working on, it fit with each of us. So I'm always like really, that's always like stuck with me, that like, that's what I needed to know. Even if I were going to be a doctor or lawyer or any of these things, it was really important for me to like be clear on who I was and how that was just enough. And I didn't need to be more than that. And I don't have to be like this person or that person. And so I think the most that I try to share with my kids is like, I really try to, encourage them in the things that they want to do, because they are super creative, but sometimes they don't have to do the same thing as me. They don't have to, like just because mom did it doesn't mean I have to do it. Or just because my, mom did it doesn't mean I have to try it either. There are things that they are interested in. And so I try to, through the work that I create, like show them that this is something that I love to do and it's flourishing for me. But then there's things that you can do that are just for you. And it's who you are. And so I really try to, in so many ways, like, I don't know that there's just like one way I do it, but I really try to, in so many ways, really encourage them in their, in who they are and their uniqueness. My son loves to build Legos and like build things. He loves to like make with his hands. And my daughter does, and she loves to dance. She loves to like be in kind of like the spotlight. She just loves that. And so like,
I knew it.
Okay, yeah. So like I push them in those areas. And so, and I not push them, but like tell them like, yes, keep doing it. Let's get you some more so that you can keep building on the thing that makes you unique and the thing that like sets you apart.
That's so important to share. And I have to say, like, where are my pom-poms? Like, it is so awesome to hear, because how many kids go through different circumstances in their households with their peers, whenever we go back to school, social circles, and then like way past high school. I mean, you're talking into your 20, 30, 40, 50 years of life, and you're still reoccurring having these experiences where you're like, who am I? What do I want to do? What sets me apart? And then to hone in on like what you truly love to do, but instill that into our kids.
I think the thing that like people constantly, someone told me this actually recently, but I think I don't realize how much confidence I got from that. So like when I started to go out and try different things, I wasn't necessarily confident that it would work out. I was just confident in myself that like whatever happened, we were going to be okay.
Okay.
And I think a lot of kids don't really get that at a young age. They're like, they don't want to fail. They don't want to mess up. But when you know who you are, you know that, well, it'll all work out, because I would tell myself like, I'm a go-getter. I'm that type of person. So if something doesn't come together, I know me, and I'm going to like get up and try again, you know? Yeah. So I think I didn't realize how much just like knowing who I was and being confident in that uniqueness really helped me in so many areas of even trying to open a business, do different things, leave a job, jump into Spoonful of Faith full time.
Yeah.
So it's definitely really important.
That takes gut. It takes grit. It takes audacity. It takes a whole lot of risk. I mean, when I get down on myself, I have to realize not a lot of people can do this. So like, own it, sister. And what a brilliant thing to share with young girls, but also young boys. We can't forget about young boys.
Yeah.
So let's go back a few years to 16-year-old Jena. Yeah. You can if you want. You don't have to give us details on what she was like when you were 16. What would you today, right now, snap my finger, go back and tell her? Like what?
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
I think I would tell her that you don't have to try to buddy. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I was growing up. Growing up, I just wanted my parents to be happy with me. And I just wanted to get good grades. Like I was really goody two shoes until about junior year of high school. But I don't think that was a bad thing. Honestly, going back, I'm like, great. I'm glad I didn't get involved in like too many things and take me over there. However, the thing that out of all of that, once I hit my 20s, I started realizing that there were some things that I just did because it was the right thing to do, or because I didn't want to make people upset and I don't want to ruffle feathers. And so I would tell myself, honestly, like at that age, like, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to make everyone happy. Everything you do is not going to make everyone happy. And so I don't know what she would have done with that information, but I would have told her that.
Well, something that your mom was telling you back when you were 16 stuck with you. So that is so great to hear. You don't, true. What did you say? I've had to tell myself that everything you do is not going to please everyone.
Yes. Like you're not going to make everyone happy. You're not going to be perfect.
No, you are not.
You don't have to try to be like, like you are loved where you are, like for who you are right now, even with your mistakes.
Yes.
I think that's something that would have been important for me to know at a young age, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So beautiful. Oh my gosh. All right. So I leave these last two questions kind of till the end because I think they're just so impactful. Not everything along the way has been joyful and easy. Whether you want to answer this on a personal front or on the professional front, what has been one of the biggest challenges or obstacles, probably of the many, that really like knocked you on your knees and you were like, well, that sucked?
I would say, oh man, there's a lot. So let's pick one. Well, I would probably say when I left my job at Target and started Spoonful of Faith, that was probably like one of the hardest things. And actually just starting a business in general, the first 2 years were really hard. They were really hard because I had to come kind of like really like up my mental game. It was a lot of things up here that were keeping me back or holding me back. And I think like, you know, also on top of that was like the unknown. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to figure it out until those first like 2 years were tough. They were tough on my marriage because in my family, I didn't have any examples of entrepreneurs, of people like starting a creative career and like actually being successful at it. So everyone around me was just like, what are you doing? Not necessarily like, we don't believe in you and you can't do it, but like everyone, it was new to everyone. So there weren't necessarily like, outside of my like close family and friends, there weren't really that many people like encouraging me to like do this. I had friends that would tell me like, that would like question it all the time. Like, are you still doing that? Like, it was just a thing that I was doing. Right. And so that like really was really hard for quite a while. And then on top of that, I wasn't really making any money. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like how can I keep doing this when I'm not really, like people don't respect you when you start making money. And sadly, yes, exactly. And so, with me and my husband, that was a strain on our relationship. It was a strain on our marriage because he had to kind of like take on this burden for my dreams, And so I'm like super, like now we look back and we're like, oh, we're so glad we did it. But in those first 2 years, it was bad. I thought, we wouldn't make it out, but we did. And so I would say that's probably like one of the most challenging things that we went through.
Why is it so, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. Why is it so hard to make such a drastic change? Because I also, coincidentally, leaving Target to pursue not stable lifestyle, very creative and not your ordinary traditional job, was also questioned. My brother my brother currently at that particular time had asked me, how much you're getting paid at your internship. What? They're not paying you? And I'm like, I started having to explain things like, I got paid in credits. I got all of, and then I was like, why am I even explaining that? I was a 28-year-old intern working with 19-year-olds, but I had a very specific plan. And I was like, none of y'all can understand me because I'm the only like, one of me in this family. So for some of us, path forger, look at you go, like clearing this, paving this path, blazing through it. On the opposite side of it, of the many, many things that you have done, what has been one of your biggest or most pivotal or favorite milestones that you're just so proud of?
Oh man, I'm like, what? I don't know. I think the one that I'm really proud of is my first, not the first, probably the second children's book that I like worked on. It was called When I Fly with Papa. It was like initially I thought, I drew a lot of pictures of kids. And so I thought maybe I'll work in children's books, but I kind of went away from it because I was like, I don't really want to draw that kind of stuff. I wanted to focus on like drawing women and just encouraging words. And so this opportunity came from Wise Inc. And it was like my first time working with that publishing company. And it was that book. First of all, I spent a lot of time working with the author on it. And so it just came out really, really beautiful. But on top of that, the connections that I made in that, just in that collaboration of that author and that Wise Inc., the publishing company, and then within myself, was just great. And that book actually is the one that landed on the desk at HarperCollins, and they reached out to me because they saw that book. And so, yeah, that was just like, just thinking back to that project and all like the time and care that was like put into it, and seeing how it opened up additional opportunities and doors is just like, it was definitely something that just pivoted my career in ways. And on top of that, you know, I still continue to do a lot of work with Wise Inc. They were, that whole just collaboration was just like a point of like way more opportunity for my business. And I just did not expect it. And so I think I will always like love that project and be just thankful for that coming on my plate. Yeah.
I'm like so excited for you to have had that opportunity. I don't know if you know this, but Dara and Amy were on season 3 of HitaTalk.
Oh, yeah, I love them. I didn't know that.
Are Wonder Women. I have done PR for about 3 or 4 authors, including my dear friend Lisa Harris, who is also a Wise Inc. author. So I just love the whole community. So when I hear Wise Inc. or an author that works with Wise Inc., I'm like, let's do this.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. HarperCollins is coming with the 2022 book that you're working on to add to another accomplishment. Before we wrap up, how can we get a hold of you? How can we support you? Tell me all the things.
Yeah. So if you search Spoonful of Faith or go to spoonfuloffaith.com, you will find all the things that I do. There you can find my shop, you can find my portfolio, reach out if there's projects you want to work on, and you can see past work there as well.
And purchase and buy and support and like and comment and share and wear and hang. I mean, all
everything. I'm also on Instagram. I didn't say that, sorry. At A Spoonful of Faith. If you can't remember it, if you go to my website, it's linked there too. So,
and all of that will be in the footnotes, and I will be blasting it everywhere, of course. So, thank you so much for answering all my questions. Before for sure we wrap up, I always like to end things with like a HitaTalk trivia or a speed round of some sort.
Okay.
So I try to stump you. Generally, it doesn't work because they're super easy questions. However, my hint is that these are combining disciplinary forms of art, and there's kind of like a play on of like what you do and then the questions. You'll get it. Today we're combining your platform with music. Okay. This song is from what movie? Just a spoonful of sugar makes everything go.
Mary Poppins. What movie is that called? Is it just called Mary Poppins?
It's Mary Poppins, and I even botched it. Makes the medicine go down. Yes, Mary Poppins. Who sings that song? Do you know?
I don't know her name.
I get it.
She's Mary Poppins to me, but
Mary Poppins. Yeah, that was such a bonus question. Julie Andrews, we love her.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
She came to Target headquarters one year to talk about the book that she had just released. And we were all excited because Mary Poppins was coming to visit.
Right.
Okay, here's another song. And I swear there's only like 5 lyrics in this whole thing.
Okay, I'm like, I might not do that well.
Who sings this song? Because I gotta have faith, faith, faith. Ooh, gotta have faith, faith, faith.
Why can't I? I know the song.
Such an old school song. And don't judge me on my singing. It's too
No,
early.
you're good. I'm clearly I don't know who sings that.
George Michael.
Okay, yep.
Yes. Okay, so I think you'll get this one. It's just a regular question, has nothing to do with music. This famous Minnesota-born illustrator was an American cartoonist and the creator of the comic strip Peanuts. What's his name?
I don't know.
Oh, I stumped her again. I thought you'd get this for sure. And that's totally
I'm not good at these.
Charles Schultz.
Charles Schultz.
You know that?
No, I didn't.
Like Charlie Brown.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't know the name of the illustrator.
Charles Sparky Schultz, Minnesota born. He passed away.
But I didn't know that it was Minnesota born. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Minnesota local. He passed away in 2000. When I was looking up that, I'm like, what, is he still around? No, he born in 1922, passed away in 2000. So some fun little trivia. I'm glad I could stump you.
Clearly, I need to, I don't know, but I didn't know any of those. But
just to get to know Jena a little bit more, we're going to do a speed round. You have like 0.5 seconds to answer each of these.
Are these trivia or, okay.
This is like, you can't get the answer wrong. I just
good.
What you will say.
Okay.
But you can't think about it. You just have to answer it.
Okay.
If you could eat one food all day, what would it be? Every day.
Popcorn.
Ooh.
White cheddar popcorn.
Ooh.
They're my favorite. I can eat a full bag.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Spaghetti or pizza?
Pizza.
Pizza or tacos?
Ooh, tacos.
That is the right answer, but there's no right answer. Lipstick or mascara?
Mascara.
Okay. Me too. I love it.
Yeah.
Pants or yoga pants?
Yoga pants.
And Bora Bora or Italy?
Bora Bora.
We're like friends because we like That is all I have. Thank you everybody for watching this. Make sure you follow Jena, spoonfuloffaith.com, like and subscribe to HitaTalk, share all of the things. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.